Yo, what's going on, you guys? This is your boy RBG, bringing you another video on a Transformers movie. Have you ever wondered what it was like between the events of Bumblebee and Rise of the Beasts? And what exactly happened to all the other members of the team that arrived on Earth compared to the number we got in Rise of the Beasts? Well, we're about to answer those questions, so stay tuned. But yeah guys, the Transformers movie franchise continues full speed ahead. Even though we haven't seen the big box office numbers like we've seen in the yesteryears of the film franchise, fans are still speculating on what we'll be seeing next. Could we be seeing a continuation of the Beast Formers? Or will we be seeing another solo film similar to Bumblebee? Because now that Hasra has made it a point to just try to do everything they can with the Transformers brand, the possibilities are endless on where they can go with this. And it just doesn't include the actual big name companies like Paramount. It also includes the talented fans who have taken it upon themselves to provide all these layers of details that the bigwigs missed out on. Like, that's always been my problems with the Transformers films, particularly the sequels. Things just go and they don't really elaborate on the things that we study on. Like all the different details pertaining to certain characters and what happened to them. Why can't certain characters be brought back but others can? And if a character doesn't die, how come he doesn't appear in a sequel? It seems like the smaller things that you would think would get harped on really don't. And to be fair, I understand why. At the end of the day, this is an advertisement to sell toys, and they always have their philosophy of out with the old, in with the new. We gotta get rid of these old figures just so we can sell the new ones. It isn't anything new when it comes to the franchise. Like, it's been a tradition since that '86 film, which basically had a lot of kids seeing their favorite characters get killed off. But our complaints don't always pertain to the characters. We just want to see a bit of continuity in between these films. And I feel like we've gotten that when it comes to the expanded lore of Transformers films. We obviously have the movie tie-in comics that do a good job of providing details on certain characters, while also putting the spotlight on characters who probably wouldn't have seen the light of day in the Bay films. And we have some of the video game titles that have done an excellent job of expanding the universe. So yeah, there are other places that we can find the answers that we're looking for, but I think the fans just seem to have all the better ideas, and they're able to show their creative side by showcasing these films that they construct. If you guys may remember, a few months ago I talked about this other film titled Transformers Rise of Unicron. That was a name that had been floating around the web for quite some time, way before Rise of the Beast was conceptualized. A talented group of fans going under the name H&F Productions did everything they could to provide details on what happened after Transformers The Last Night, and they're going to be bringing different characters in that we didn't get a chance to see. A lot of time and effort and restless nights have been put into this thing because it's been in the works for 3 years, and even though it's being done by fans, it has been approved by Hasbro and Paramount. So that brings a bit of legitimacy here when it comes to this, because all the character models look great. Like, this truly feels like the Renaissance era of Transformers fan-made projects, and we continue to see how well they take these creative liberties to introduce new things while not taking away what Michael Bay established. It's kind of like what these sequels to the Bayverse could have been if they kind of kept that balance of comedy and action from the 2007 movie, as opposed to just boosting everything up and making it feel like it's on steroids. But the biggest beauty of it all is that they get to use those complex designs that the Bayverse fans love and add new things to them as well. You know, you have other characters that obviously weren't there, but you know, they still can look familiar to those fans of that particular continuity. And you also have those fans who love the new continuity, that being the Nightverse. And that's what we're going to be talking about, because the Nightverse is still in its infancy phase. If we haven't really established a lot with this, there are so many things that we need answers to. And particularly, we got to talk about what happened between the events of Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast. Obviously, since those films have two different directors, the tonality of them are going to feel significantly different from one another. It still seems like Hasbro and Paramount are still scrounging around on where they want to take the franchise. For some strange reason, Optimus seems to be mirroring a lot of traits that he had from the previous continuity, which is largely due in parts to Lorenzo di Bonaventura. Let's be honest, that guy refuses to acknowledge the fact that we are in a new continuity, and he wants to try to keep that Bayverse fandom intact. But there are other issues that I would like to harp on, like how the aesthetic somewhat changes from Bumblebee to how it is now in the Rise of the Beasts film. If you remember in that awesome Cybertron sequence in Bumblebee, all the characters for the most part resembled their G1 counterparts. I think Bumblebee is going to be that one that's like an outlier because they still want to make sure that character is represented in a fashion that fans recognize it from the Bayverse films. But when it came to the rest of the cast, they for the most part had their G1 looks. But in Rise of the Beasts, some of that stuff gets lost in translation, which I had a fear this would happen because the G1 designs weren't necessarily made with a lot of realism in mind. Like, you can only take them so far to fit this realistic setting they're in, which is why I feel like they kind of deviated away from the designs and didn't straight lift them from the Bumblebee movie. For whatever reason, they refused to use Wheeljack's design and they just made this Pablo character. And they gave Optimus his Transformers 2007 face, which I still find weird. Something else that I found weird is that we didn't see all 7 characters that were landing on Earth at the end of Bumblebee. We wound up getting 4 characters, those being Mirage, RC, Wheeljack, and Stratosphere. Ratchet, Brawn, and Ironhide were nowhere to be found, which has fans scratching their heads. And I think once those characters do make a return, they're going to look significantly different from how they looked in Bumblebee, similar to how we have with Pablo here. Because once again, those designs, they are going to be hard to tailor to a realistic vehicle in whatever timeline the movie exists in. But I still think it can be done in some kind of form or fashion. They just need to find a healthy medium. But if we don't get those things, there's still a chance that we can get them in the form of a fan film, which I wanted to bring you guys' attention to. My boy Laszlo Van, who you guys may recognize on YouTube, who makes these cool graphics designs of all these custom-made Transformers. He's even working on the Transformers Rise of Unicron project that I mentioned earlier. He hit me up and asked me if I could talk about this new fan-made animated series that he's working on that takes place after Bumblebee but before the events of Transformers Rise of the Beast. It's titled Transformers Arrival, and it'll give some explanation on stuff that was poorly done in Rise of the Beast, like what the Transformers were up to shortly after they arrived on Earth. And it'll introduce characters that didn't make the cut in Rise of the Beast. One of the first characters that everybody's been asking for since the inception of these live action movies is Ultra Magnus. This iteration of the character will be serving as the Autobot commander, and he'll have 2 alt modes consisting of a Cybertronian truck and a Man-Cat 8x8 tanker. I've been wanting to see this guy up in a film for a long time. I feel like if they can create Optimus Prime in live action, it should be, in quite honesty, a simple task to do with this other character that's very similar to Optimus Prime. I'm not sure why Paramount and Hasbro are so reluctant to pull the trigger and make this guy into an actual thing that we can actually see on the big screen, but hey, this is a good start and hopefully it inspires them to actually put him there. But the next character we have on this list that I've been asking to see since 2007 when he made his last appearance is Jazz, the cool and laid-back Autobot lieutenant who has a strong affinity towards hip-hop. This is a character that you guys have heard me stress time and time again that I feel like they're trying to eradicate his existence from the Transformers live-action movies. For whatever reason, since this character has croaked over in Transformers 2007, we have yet to hear murmurings or any kind of word about him. Still blows my mind that we had the perfect movie to introduce him into, that being Transformers Rise of the Beast, a movie that takes place in New York and constantly has hip-hop references. And I'm under the notion that they were considering putting Jazz in, since a lot of the things that Mirage has very much mirrors the things that we saw with Jazz, such as the Porsche vehicle mode. I know it's not a 911, but hey, Jazz is highly associated with the Porsche. And I also noticed that Mirage was wearing headphones, which kind of puts me in the mind of Transformers animated Jazz, because he also wore headphones in that. Like, all you had to do was slap some visors on Mirage and he would literally be Jazz. But yeah, man, it's good to see him back up in this, and I like the design that they're going with. It looks like the perfect mesh of what we saw in Bumblebee with a modernized kick to it. Besides those two guys, we have these reoccurring characters, those being Optimus Prime and RC. Optimus Prime will be retaining more of his Rise of the Beast design, while RC will be kind of taking a step back into her Bumblebee look, just with a slight change to match with Earth's surroundings. And she looks good, man, and what I like about this further just kind of pushes the argument that I had earlier about them finding a happy medium where they can take those designs from the B film and modernize them in a way that doesn't go too far and make them unrecognizable. Like, I'm not saying that RC's design was bad and deviated too far from B, because that was one of the exceptions. And then we also have the B cast that was relatively faithful to their G1 source. But other characters like Pablo over here, he does not look anything like what we saw in Bumblebee, and hopefully that's the end of that trend. They just go back to making these characters more faithful to the originals. But minor rambling aside, this is going to be a mini-series consisting of 6 episodes in total and 1 epilogue, and episode 1 will be down the pipeline very soon. But this is a team consisting of 20 people, which makes it a lot harder to get things done. Everybody has their own personal lives and jobs to tend to, and Laszlo Van, he has to pay all these people. So to make sure that everyone is financially taken care of for their work, and to ensure that they're delivering a solid project, he's launched a Patreon. And by donating $5, you can ensure that this project moves forward. Like, I'm not saying that this could happen, but I'm sure if they do get enough financial backing for this project, we could potentially see a continuation of it, or we can see some more Transformers stuff produced by them. So yeah guys, if you have the money and you want to see more cool projects like this continue, then you should definitely go over there and join the Patreon. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this one because I had a blast making this video. I'm always excited to see what new Transformers projects is coming down the pipeline, and I'm also glad to help out in any way I can of just kind of hoisting that flag and bringing attention to it. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think this will do a good job of filling in the gaps of what happened between Bumblebee and Transformers Rise of the Beasts? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, I ask you to like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. But if you really enjoyed this video, I ask you share it with all your friends and followers on all the different social media outlets. Sharing is caring. But once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. As a successful YouTube user, I often get questions asking what I use to get my videos tons of views. And the answer to that is TubeBuddy. This thing has helped me take my channel to the next level in ways I never imagined. It's a browser extension that helps new and experienced YouTubers grow fast and optimize their channels. I've been using this extension for years and it's constantly getting updated with new features, like the SEO tool that helps me come up with the perfect title, description, and tags to get more people to click on my videos. It even provides you with analytics beside your videos to see how much traffic your video is generating from various social media sites. The extension is absolutely free, but as a special offer, we're giving a 50% discount for channels that have less than 1,000 subscribers that purchase the Pro upgrade. All you have to do is enter in the code RisingStarBuddy. So if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel or taking your content to the next level, download the extension now. You can do so by clicking on this link that will be provided in the description of this video.